got bright rosy cheeks and a fluffy white beard with marshmallow walls and a big red chair. Santa's coming.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa's
And welcome
coming
back to
down.
Santa Has a Podcast. Boy, it's been fantastic these past few weeks being with all of you and giving the riddles and the jokes and the stories and all those wonderful things, because this is where we share laughter and stories and fun and everything in the spirit from the North Pole. So we have that all for you. And we're going to get going today. But before we jump into all the fun and things that we have planned for you, we have to cover our riddle from last week. Do you remember the riddle? Well, that's okay. You don't have to remember it because I'm going to repeat it right now for you, okay? So I want you to listen to the riddle and see if you can give me the answer. Here's the riddle. I help you to count December days in fun and festive, sneaky ways. Open a door. Look inside. A treat or toy may be your prize. What am I? Did you figure it out? Do you know the answer? That's right. It was an Advent calendar. We're getting ready to go towards Advent, and you're going to have an opportunity to have an Advent calendar, and they can be so much fun. In fact, we're going to talk about those today, okay? It'd be kind of a fun thing to do. So let's get started here with some fun facts about Advent calendars, okay? Did you know that the first Advent calendar appeared over 120 years ago? It was in Germany. The first calendars that you could open up and look inside. And Advent comes from a Latin word, and it means arrival, okay? So we're celebrating the arrival of Christmas. It's very, very special. In 19th century, there were a lot of people in Germany, German families, they started the tradition to help their children count down the days until Christmas. It was a lot of fun to do that. And the calendars helped the children count. It also helped them learn how to use a calendar, and it helped them on just basically counting. You know, how many times have you had your parents help you count? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, guess what? Isn't it fun to count down a calendar? And maybe there's a little door that you open up, and behind the door there might be a surprise. That's what's neat about an Advent calendar. And they had paper doors, and inside they might have candies or treats, sometimes tiny books. Different little things. Sometimes they were just little things that might be a bit of an act of kindness just for you. And that's what Advent calendars had inside. You know, today Advent calendars have lots of things inside, a lot of different things. Sometimes when you open that little door, you might find chocolates. Maybe you'll find a little Lego. How about some slime? Yes, so you got some crazy calendars out there. Or maybe books. Even doggy treats. We have special Advent calendars for your doggy. And every time you open up a little window, there's a little treat for your doggy. They're a lot of fun for the whole family to have. So again, Advent calendars can be really great. Anyway, Advent calendars are one of my favorite things because we have different ones around the North Pole. Mrs. Claus has a couple of them around our house. The elves have some in their own personal homes. We don't put them in the workshop because each individual elf or elf family has their own elf calendar, their own Advent calendar. So it's kind of neat to have it that way. And but they're one of my favorite ways to watch the dates and as we go about our work. Right now it's time to zip over to the Candy Cane Square, and we have a wonderful correspondent. She's been working very hard to try to bring us news and information all about the North Pole. So let's go to Chatter Snowglitz. Chatter, what do you have going on?
Thank you, Santa. And boy, oh boy, do we ever have a lot going on around here. It's snowflakes and sleigh bells with Chatter Snowglitz reporting live from Candy Cane Square, where the mistletoe drones are flying and the elves are dancing the Candy Cane Cha-Cha. Let's see what's happening today. Well, elves in the idea room are testing their ideas for all the tiny toys for our very own North Pole Advent calendar. And wowzers, I got a sneak peek, jinglers, and it is going to be so good. I'll be sure to pass along their brilliant ideas when it's complete. And how about those tree calendars? Well, Mrs. Claus is creating mini cookie recipes to go inside Advent calendars, and she already has 21 different mini cookies ready to go. She is crushing it like a candy cane. And door popping practice day, is the best day ever around here. It's where the elves test the surprise compartments, and it was a huge success. Well, that's it for today. We are reporting live where the countdown prep begins. It's Chatter Snowglitz jingling out. Back to you, Santa.
Well, thank you, Chatter, for that wonderful report. I love hearing about all the things going on with the Advent calendars, what the elves are doing, and especially I like hearing about what Mrs. Claus is doing, because for some of you who don't know it, Mrs. Claus is making all kinds of different flavored cookies to go in the Advent calendar, different little tiny snacks, and they're all different flavored. And guess what? I get to test them all. So she's had, of course, chocolate chip and oatmeal raisin and macadamia nut, and she's got snickerdoodles and sugar cookies, but she's also got some new flavors, like how about root beer? Oh, yeah, that's really neat. And cranberry cookies and pineapple cookies, all kinds of really fancy things. And then she has some cookies that have red sprinkles on them and some have green sprinkles on them. And cinnamon cookies. Oh, my goodness, those are fantastic. They taste almost like a breakfast cinnamon roll. They are so delicious. So she's working on all those, and it's going to make it very, very special for you this Christmas when you open up your Advent calendar with Mrs. Claus cookies inside. Yeah. So, do you have an Advent calendar at your home? Oh, it's nice to have them. Well, my jolly friends, let me tell you why Advent calendars are one of my very favorite things that we like to have in our house at the North Pole every year and our countdown to Christmas. You see, the Christmas Eve isn't just about December 25th. Okay, it's about the joy of giving and the joy of doing things during the whole month of December, during all of the winter holidays. You know, we enjoy all the different things going there. So the Advent calendar is kind of a nice way of celebrating each day something special. And sometimes on certain days, you know, in addition to opening up the Advent calendar, that might be the day you open up and you know that when you open that day, that's the day you're going to go visit grandma or grandpa or a relative. You know, different things on different days. December can be a whole month of fun and celebration. You know, some days in the Advent calendar, I've had it where I opened up the calendar and inside Mrs. Claus left me some ribbon. And you know what that was? That was a reminder for me to wrap her Christmas present. Yes, it's a lot of fun. So that's exactly what Advent calendars do. They help us plan, they help us count the days and the enjoyment leading up to Christmas, okay? Now, it works kind of like this. Each morning when you wake up with a question in your heart, what surprise will today bring? Okay? So now you go to the door and you open up the door with the number for that day. And when you open up that little door, boom! Inside, you might find a little chocolate treat, or maybe a little tiny toy, or maybe a silly joke written on a little piece of paper, you know, like a fortune cookie paper or something like that. And maybe a kind word that says happy or smiling or joy, those types of things. And sometimes there's fun activities. Sometimes you open it up and it says, today you need to go help somebody, or today you need to say thank you to someone. Little reminders like we've been talking about on the podcast, where we say please and thank you and do things for others. So sometimes the Advent calendar may have little notes inside of those things that you get to do. It makes it very, very special. So I hope you have a great Advent calendar. And remember, it's not always about surprises. It may be about making memories, about special occasions and things like that. Maybe your family opens up the Advent calendar together. Maybe there's one door you open up and it's for everybody with a message for everyone. Maybe you giggle with your siblings when a candy cane pops out. And then, of course, if it's your candy cane, or is it your brothers or your sisters, or does mommy or daddy get the candy cane? It's kind of fun. And I've seen Advent calendars that were maybe, you know, 1.5 feet high. And I've seen Advent calendars that were 3 feet high with big doors. Different types of Advent calendars for all kinds of things. Well, my jolly friends, there are so many fun ways to set up your Advent calendar. And just in case you want some fresh ideas, we have put some of those ideas on the Santa Has a Podcast website. So you can go to the website and find out more about Advent calendars and things that you can do. Maybe we could start counting down now. Actually, around December 1st is when we count down, but maybe you want to add a few days and start early. Anyway, it's always fun to have a little bit of there. It's now time to get into more fun stuff, more giggles and joy, and sometimes a little bit of a, oh no. But Rudolph tells us these little funny jokes, and I love hearing from Rudolph. So at this time, take it away, Rudolph.
Okay, Santa, here we go. Why don't advent calendars ever get lost? They always know the date. Okay, here's another one for you, Santa. How does Santa build a great team? It's because you slay it with kindness and elfort.
Wow, Rudolph. Those are great jokes. You've slayed me again, elfort. Oh, my goodness. How you take those words and turn them around. It's just so much fun. Well, now it's time to peek into the mailbag and check everything. It's time for Mailbox Magic. Okay, and I know we've got some letters and things we want to do here. So let's move on down and check. I've got 2 letters today. And by the way, you can send your notes into me. Go santaeditapodcast.com and you can send me your note or letter with your questions. And maybe I'll read your question on the air, okay? Right here on the podcast. First one here is from Ava. She's 10 years old, and Ava's asking, Dear Santa, we put up our Christmas lights super early this year because we're going on vacation for Thanksgiving. I helped my dad, and none of the lights broke this time. That's a Christmas miracle. Well, Ava, that is wonderful to hear that you got your Christmas lights up early, and I have to tell you, I have to do the same thing. Mrs. Claus tells me if I don't have all my Christmas lights up and have everything decorated before Thanksgiving, I might have to go sleep with the reindeer. I'm in trouble. I have to stay in the stables, because I have to have everything decorated. I am so busy in December, I have no time to do anything except take care of you and make sure the sleigh is ready and make sure it's loaded and get everything ready for Christmas Eve. So all my decorating has to be done before Thanksgiving. So thank you for that note, Ava. That was really nice. We've got a second letter here. Let's see. This one's from Logan. Logan is 12 years old. Almost a teenager, Logan. Wow. He's saying, Santa, do you play video games? If you do, should we team up? I'd like a new controller for Christmas, please. Well, I'll tell you something. Santa's a bit old-fashioned. I let the elves really get into the games and electronics and stuff. I'm pretty good if I can just do email, okay? Let alone. Plus, I have a big problem. I've got big thumbs, so it's a little hard on those control pads to do all the things I need to do. So I let the elves have fun doing the games and stuff. I like to watch. I like to see who's winning and things like that, but I don't play the games myself. It's a little hard. So anyway, I think that's great. Now, I think we've got some recorded messages from our website, so let's hear from somebody. Let's see what we've got out there, okay?
Santa, what's your favorite reindeer?
Wow. Now, I want you to know that I have that question from hundreds and hundreds of children. They always want to know my favorite reindeer. I bet you're at home right now, you're thinking, what is my reindeer? And you're probably thinking maybe it's Rudolph. Or maybe you think it's Dasher or Dancer. Well, I have to tell you that I try not to play favorites and pick any one particular reindeer too much over the others. But I do love Rudolph probably a little bit more than some of the others. But I love them all. How many of you have a couple pets? A cat or a dog or 2 dogs or 2 cats? You love all of your pets, right? You love them all a whole lot. Well, I love my reindeer the same way. And they're not pets, actually. They're part of the family. And I take very good care of them. The elves help out. And I love them all very, very much. And by the way, I love them all for special reasons. Rudolph, because Rudolph can guide us through the night, okay? Dasher and Dancer, because they're the lead reindeer and they know where to turn and things like that. Vixen is joy. We've got, Blitzen is, again, part of our speed. And then, of course, as I always talk about, Donder and Blitzen are the strongest 2 reindeer. They pull the heaviest part of our load to get us through the skies and to your home. So each of the reindeer has a special reason that I love them. Okay? Let's see if we got another question from somebody.
How does the magic work if there's no chimney? How do you get in the house with no chimney?
Again, another question a lot of children ask, because some homes don't have chimneys. Some people live in apartments. You know, I have some people that live in mobile homes, or they live in some countries and other parts of the world. All they have is little stove pipes. They don't even have chimneys, and it's a little hard to get in. So I have magic keys, and I can magically open any door and get into any home. In fact, Mrs. Claus sometimes prefer that I do that because I keep my suit clean. I mean, don't I? For those of you who can watch right now, you can see how clean and pretty I look in my Santa suit. Again, I want to keep it clean and make it look nice. So again, magic keys are the key way to get into your home, you know. So that's a special way to do it. And by the way, even if you're not home, say you're going to go visit a relative, you know, a lot of times my elves give me the heads up, and I find out I can move the presents, and instead of delivering to your home, I might be able to deliver them to wherever you are. Maybe you're visiting a grandparent. I can deliver to your grandparent's house. There's lots of ways I can do that. Or if I get the word, maybe what I do is while you're visiting your grandparents, I leave them in your house until you get home. But again, Santa can do all kinds of things with gift giving, because a lot of things that we do with the elves and with the sleigh are all bits of magic at Christmas. Okay? So that's our questions for this week. Remember, you can always go to Santa as a podcast, write down your question, give it to us, and we'll try to answer it right here on the podcast, okay? Those are great, great letters, you know. And after we do the letters, of course, we have to check our spirit meter. And so this is the time when I got to ask all of you, let's be quiet for a moment and listen for the spirit meter. There it goes. Getting higher. Wow! You guys are doing a great job with all of your good deeds, all the special things you're doing, the way that you're saying please and thank you, and maybe you're playing with a friend or reading a book to somebody. Maybe you made some cookies for someone, or maybe you drew a picture and gave it to someone. All those little things are good deeds. And every time you do a good deed, the meter goes higher. And sometimes you don't have to do the good deed once. You can do it twice. You can do it 3 times. You can do the good deeds over and over and over again. I hope when you do the good deeds, you also feel that good feeling inside, that tingly feeling about helping others and being special, because that's what you are. You are being special. And, of course, you're helping our meter get higher and higher and higher. So that's great. That sound this week is even higher than we had last week. It's getting better and better all the time. And you know, the elves are really trying to keep that thing going, okay? Okay, now that we've got all the good deeds taken care of, remember last week we gave you a good deed. And that good deed was to help pick up litter. Now, maybe the litter was just around the house, you know. Maybe you went out and you went with a parent or somebody else and you went out and picked up litter in the park or something like that. Hopefully you wore gloves, you know, and kept clean and everything. But picking up litter is a wonderful thing to do. It makes an area look beautiful for everybody, whether it's around your house or around the community in the park and things like that. Picking up litter is a good deed. And, of course, all of you that did that last week, the meter shot up. I mean, it was fantastic. So, again, thank you very, very much for helping push up the spirit meter, okay? Now, this week we have another challenge for you. Okay, this is going to be a fun one this week because I want you to be creative. How many of you like to be creative? How many of you like to make things? Okay. Do you like arts and crafts? Well, that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to have you make something. I would like each of you to create a homemade Christmas tree ornament, something that you could put on your Christmas tree. Now, I know sometimes you do this at school. Your teachers will have you make something to put on the Christmas tree at home, but I want you to do this on your own. You know, get some paper and draw a Christmas ornament. Or if you've got some ice cream sticks you can glue together, or you got some beads you can weave onto a pipe cleaner. There's all kinds of ways you can make some sort of little ornament that you can put on your Christmas tree. Would you do that? That's, again, part of making joy. And what I would like you to do is make that ornament, and then instead of just putting it on the tree, give it as a gift to someone, okay? Can you do that? Give it as a gift to your parent or a neighbor or a friend. That's the beauty of, the joy of Christmas is not always receiving a gift, it's giving a gift. It's doing things for others. And by doing that, you create joy and you push that spirit meter up higher and higher. So help us go higher and higher. Make a Christmas ornament and give it to someone else. Will you do that for me? Oh, that's great. I appreciate that. Okay, well, we got the spirit meter going, and I know it's rising already, and jolly good deeds are what we want to see everybody doing. And, of course, guys, it's almost time to finish today's episode. We've been enjoying this. I love every week being able to talk to you. I hope you enjoy coming back every week and seeing me and talking about all the things that are Christmas and happiness at the North Pole and laughs and giggles with Rudolph and our reporters and correspondents and things like that. But right now, I have to stop for a second because before I say goodbye, I have to give you this week's riddle. Now, you like the riddles, right? Okay, here's this week's riddle. I want you to listen very carefully. Now, think about the answer, and next week I will actually give you the real answer. Here it is. I rise with kindness, sharing and cheer, from giving kids and hearts sincere. You might not see me, but you'll hear the magic grows when love is near. What am I? Again, here we go. I rise with kindness, sharing and cheer, from giving kids with hearts sincere. You might not see me, but you'll hear the magic grows when love is near. Okay? What am I? So that's your riddle for this week. I want you to think about it, and next week we'll come back and we'll give you the answer to that, okay? So it's time for me to go. So again, I love you all very, very much. Keep spreading the joy and the kindness, and I'll talk to you next week on Santa Has a Podcast. Ho, ho, ho!